welcome back to my YouTube channel. As usual, if this is your first time, I appreciate you subscribe and engage our videos. So today, April being an awareness month for cesarean section mothers, or let's say cesarean section generally. I brought someone unique to the channel today to come and share a personal experience. That someone happens to be my sister. She's the mother of 3 beautiful daughters. She's happily married, and I'm very sure she's going to give us a lot to take home with today. So sit back, take your popcorn, relax and enjoy, and listen carefully with an open mind towards the cesarean section. And of course, you will enjoy it. She's happily married. Her name is Oluwaseyi Olokodano. Welcome, Mrs. Olokodano. It's great to have you here.
Thank you.
You briefly. I'd like to meet you beyond what I have said.
Okay, thank you. It's nice being here. Thank you for having me. So like she rightly said, my name is Shay for short. Yeah, Oluwaseyi, that's my full name. And I'm here because I wanted to talk a little about, want to chat, not talk now, about cesarean section. And we're going to be looking at a few important details. And I'm going to be sharing my own story, my personal story. So come along and relax, like she said. And thank you for inviting me. It's nice being on your channel.
The pleasure is all mine. Thank you for honoring this invitation. I missed your busy schedule because actually I need to take care of toddlers, right? Toddlers, I think 3 of them are toddlers, right?
Just one of them. That's Beatrice, is a toddler, but I have a preschooler. By what we do, I stay in the United States, so we call those who are between 1 and 2, they are toddlers. Preschoolers are from like 3, 4, yeah. So I have a 6-year-old, I have a 4-year-old, and right now I have.
There's a lot to learn about this, so let's just keep watching. So as we all know, there are 2 major birth options that we have, which is vaginal and cesarean section. Well, a lot of misconception has been going about cesarean section. Some people opt for it. Some people have no choice but to go for it. In as much as it is, we try not to tag it as an abnormal birth. In our culture, people say, yeah, is it a normal birth you have? There's no abnormal birth whatsoever. So today she's going to be sharing her experience with us on cesarean section. And because the story is personal, I'm very sure you're going to get a lot of things from it. She's going to share her personal experience from her first child, and experience too, Nigerian doctors and US doctors, and also her recovery in Nigeria and her recovery over there. Because I can remember when she went to her first child, I was still in the OAU there. And the sewing, I don't know what they did. I don't know if we should blame experience or we should blame equipment. Maybe they don't look at the equipment.
No,
it's not
equipment. Yeah. Cool.
Equipment, right?
Not the equipment. I don't think so, because they typically use the same thing they used on others, mostly. Maybe not throughout. There were little differences, but I think it's more the problem of the doctor that stitched me, because eventually a doctor came in, just like I'll be sharing in my story shortly.
So don't let me jump ahead. Let us share it from our mouth. From Miss Austin's mouth. Yeah, please, and take us through your journey, your cesarean section journey. How was it?
Yeah, thank you. So it's great really being here and being able to share my experience. And I will start off on the notes where she said something about abnormal birth versus normal birth, and she's very correct. There is nothing like abnormal birth, and we have this misconception going on in Nigeria, in Africa, maybe generally. I remember after I had my first baby, one of my close friends, one of my friends there in where I stay in garage. In Oshodi, where I was then. She asked me, she was like, "Hope it was normal delivery," and I said, "Yes, it was." Yeah, I had cesarean section, but it's normal delivery. Come on, what is abnormal, dear? Nothing is abnormal, and it's not like some people have a choice. I remember when I was going in, when I started my journey, I'll try to be brief because I have a lot of stories, honestly, with cesarean session. With my first child, when I was going to Ava, I started as a new mother to be. So I started with Jolad Hospital by default because my husband works in Globacom, and then that is HMO insurance and whatever. So we were using there, but then we got a couple of advices from people that, well, you may want to do a second antenatal with general hospitals or government hospitals, just to make sure, since you are new to the world of motherhood. And I'm like, okay, it makes sense. And then I did that. Thank God I did, honestly, because Jolad was great, but yeah, I did not see myself having a cesarean session, honestly. I didn't see it at that point coming to me, but I started with them. I was going gradually, and I remember a couple of things that prepared my mind to be ready, because I know if my mind wasn't ready, if I'd gone to Jolad or whatever, and then it was going to be a last minute thing that they had to do, I would have struggled with it. And I remember one of the matrons told us also during one of the classes that listen to what your doctor says. Your doctor wants the best for you. And I take that with me, that whatever he says, don't toy with it. So she gave us a couple of stories, I think, to back up our points. And I remember her saying there was a woman that had cesarean that was going to have a child. I think the child was breech or so, or I can't remember. I think that should be the issue. And then they told her that she was going to have to use cesarean section, and she was like, "No, lie, I'm not going to. You know the way we do it now. Pray, oh yeah, pastor, start praying for me." She contacted her pastor. That was how they started praying. I think maybe a couple of days went. This child wasn't forthcoming. It was so painful. Eventually, that child died inside of her.
Can you imagine?
Now, you know what the most painful thing about that was, that the cesarean section she didn't want to do to bring out a living child. She had to do a dead child.
Oh Lord.
She could have avoided that. Yeah, that's one thing I'm grateful for. I'm like, so since I heard that, and I'm like, I know I am somebody that could, I cannot just imagine having to go through that. But I know some of us are stubborn when it comes to things like that. We want to trust God. It's good to trust God, but God is not against medicine. That's why.
Well, I actually think God actually brought this painful apartment.
Exactly.
It's to help us to limit death rates.
Exactly.
Maternal death rates. Because why not? Why not just do it?
Oh, I will burn like the Hebrews. That was my desire. Like she has rightly told you. Maybe she mentioned it, I don't know. I had, for all my 3 kids, they were all cesarean section. I never planned it. It wasn't what I desire. That's my sister Jen now. She had her first child. She was wishing for cesarean section at some point, but I'm grateful that she had a natural. That's what I wished I could have, but like you, as you will learn in my story, I couldn't. So how did I end up having to need cesarean section? That's what we are going into now. My first child, when she was around 20, I think late 20, when we go to 28 weeks or so, or 20 something weeks, 28 weeks. So she started measuring shorts, like not measuring the fundal height wasn't measuring as accurate. And that's one of the major things they use to measure the growth of a child in Nigeria. So I think at 36, she may be showing 33. What is happening? What is going on? And mind you, by this time I had totally transitioned into government hospital, Solo General Hospital. And, I was just trusting God. I was praying. I don't know, nobody was telling me anything was wrong. They would say, go do this test. At some point, they asked me to do this, they asked me to go do a thorough ultrasound. I've forgotten the name they gave it, but like it's a fetal, like a thorough one that they will examine and be sure that the child is okay. Meanwhile, that was like a couple of weeks away from my delivery. I mean, I was almost due, and then before then, I remember this doctor, Dr. Shudi, in that general hospital, Solo General Hospital. Thank God I met that man. So he was going to, he was a consultant. He was going to, I think, was overseeing my case. And what you would usually do is that under him, there will be other doctors. So this doctor told me, you're going to have cesarean session with this child. Your child is measuring small, and small for age. That's what it said it. And if she's measuring small, some things might be wrong. I mean, nothing is. It's better. They are looking at it from the angle of, okay, you can, as this child may not be so ready for birth experience. It might be too much for her to take. So I can imagine what they are trying to say. Assume, those who are born prematurely, some of them go through some trouble of birth. I think sometimes they may not even let you do normal vaginal birth with some premature birth. If it's going to be complicated, there will be complications, and I'm not quoting anything, I'm just assuming. So okay. I'm just thinking maybe that's why he hasn't, since this baby is small. Yes, fine. My baby was born at 38 weeks and 1 or 2 days, but yet she wasn't measuring up to that. All the recent, around that time, the tests I was doing, ultrasound, was showing that she was small. She wasn't weighing up to 3-point-something kg that a regular, 2.8 kg that a regular child would weigh. And so when I was sent for this thorough ultrasound that I said, following what my doctor told me that I may need a cesarean session, this specialist assured me that your baby is not too small. She's weighing 2.4. That is a more thorough, like I said. She's 2.4 right now, and then 2.4 kg maybe at 36 weeks. So you can go on and have this baby vaginally and all of that. So I just like, okay. I think I was happy with that news and all of that. But I got there, and my doctor just wanted me to do cesarean session anyways. Like, okay, listen to your doctor, I'm going to do that. And that was why I was given. It wasn't an emergency session, it was planned. So they asked me, come in and all of those things. So I went and I brought my stuff. My husband was there. I did my cesarean session, and everything went pretty well. I did good. There was nothing. So that's the first phase of my cesarean session. Like I said, I've had 2 other cesarean sessions, but now in the United States. And I would say it is better. I held my baby. It's better to have a living child, to have a child, an healthy child. My first baby, if you see her, she's beautiful. I can't imagine losing her, because I can't imagine losing such a beauty, because I want to be stubborn and all of that.
So you want to give it like an Hebrew woman.
Like an Hebrew woman, yeah. So I'm coming to that. So I'm going to just take us through. I'll briefly talk on the other 2 cesarean sessions that I have. Then you can ask me questions. I'm going to talk about complications. Thereafter, she can ask me questions and we can interact. So the second and the third ones were done here in the United States. And the second time I wanted to try Hebrew woman delivery. So, of course, if we're in Nigeria, I wouldn't try. That's what my husband keeps saying, that we wouldn't even dare try doing vaginal birth after first cesarean session, because I'm sorry, but the system in Nigeria, carelessness and all of that. And I will tell you why I said that. They were careless. My first cesarean session went smoothly in Nigeria when I had my baby back in 2015. But you won't believe that even a doctor that did my cesarean session told me that I did so good. I did not bleed. I didn't even need any blood. I did not bleed at all. Everything was so fine. Okay. I'll talk about the complications later. Stay with us. So the second vaginal birth, second one, I wanted to try it here. And I had agreed with my OBGYN. So she, at 37 weeks, she told me, the same thing started happening with my second baby. At some point, she was doing so well, weighing so big. And then at some point, early 30 or late 30, 28 weeks, early 30, she started showing a little falling behind again. What is happening? What is happening? Am I going to have a small baby again this time? So eventually my OBGYN told me, go in at 37. I was 37 weeks. I went for my checkup. She was like the last thorough, like what I did, that I went for that thorough ultrasound that would take everything, every details. But she was like, no, it was as 5 percentile. That my baby was showing 5 percentile. That means out of 100 kids, she's like one of these littlest, very small for that. So she was like, no, we don't want to risk having. I remember the week, that 37th week was supposed to be my baby shower. I was so looking forward to that baby shower because it's a big deal here. And since we don't have much people around, it's just people want to rejoice with me and everything. My church had planned baby shower for me and everything. I'm like, okay, I'm going to go in. My baby shower is on Sunday. She wants me to go in on Saturday. The day my baby clocked 37 weeks, I'm like, okay, I remember the injunction. Listen to your doctor that I've learned from Nigeria. And she just advised me, actually. And I told her, well, I want to go in for my baby shower. She was like, okay, I saw that, okay. Because here, it's actually your decision. The worst, they will give you something to sign. Just sign that it was your decision. They won't force, but I now told her, honestly, what do you think? So she was like, I need you to go in today. So when she told me she needs me to go in, I'm like, okay. Oh, that means my baby shower down the drain. Here we go. Yeah. So I had to go in. So sometimes we have all these perfect plans. We want our baby birth to be like this, our vaginal birth. So I went in actually, not for cesarean session this time. They were going to try that VBAC. That's what we call it. Vaginal birth after cesarean section. That's what it's called, VBAC. So I tried it, and then they started, they put me on is it oxytocin now? They put me on some drugs that is passed through my veins just to enhance contractions, to pave the way. And I was progressing gradually. I went in the afternoon on that Saturday. By night, before 11 a.m. or thereabout, I was 4 cm dilated. So doctors were checking on me. I appreciate the fact that they wanted to respect my wish that, okay, I wanted to try vaginal birth. And I went in and all of that. And then they saw how I was doing. And at some point, I had an issue. I don't know what happened. Past 11, I felt this strong pain, very strong. I can't remember, like very strong pain. Before I knew it, a gush of like real thick blood. What is this? The nurse was, she tried to calm me down, quickly called on the doctor. The doctor came in, and I need to call your attention to something, but I won't compare well if I tell you at this point. I'm coming back to compare the birth, my afterbirth, and the birth in America with Nigeria. So by the time I got this guy, what was the doctor come and see the speed, run and everything? Before I knew it, I don't know where they were trooping from. The crew, they were ready for me in case I needed a cesarean session. So meanwhile, I signed that emergency C-section. I signed it. It didn't take them 2 minutes. I don't think so. They were wheeling me out already to the theater. They were just coming out. They were already around me. Before I knew it, somebody was already shaving up my pubic hair, everything. No, I really respect something. Healthcare system is very costly in America. Let me tell you the truth. But they are top notch. That's one thing I appreciate. They are really top notch. They are very good at what they are doing, and they are trying. Will I give the glory to them? No. God use them. I give all the glory to God, but I appreciate their efforts. Because like I said, I'm going to compare at this point what my first delivery was like. So I told you my first delivery went well, right? But after, when I was being wheeled out of the theater, I discovered some wetness in my bandage. After the baby is out and everything, I saw some wetness at the left side, and I called the chief matron right before I was wheeled out. I'm like, they were wheeling me out so that another person, they could start another surgery. I'm like, this place is wet compared to the other side. What did she tell me? She told me, oh, no, it's nothing. She dismissed it.
They dismissed it.
She dismissed it and made me think, well, it's all right. It's nothing. Maybe it's just after surgery point of. But I know my body, and I know that place was wetter than this place. I didn't know that my stitch was either not good enough or it was loosed. Okay, that was how I entered that ward, the recovery ward, and I stayed there. That night, I was bleeding. In my urine, my mom was with me, thank God for her. In my urine, my urine wasn't clear. And of course, they expected at this time in the night that my urine was already clear. Nurses were going in and coming in, changing shifts. Doctors were changing shifts. And the thing just kept on. What is this? What is that? I was gradually losing blood. My life was gradually flying away. And then the second day came. I remember that night, they called in the doctor that had operated on me earlier in the day. And I don't know whether he was stressed or something, maybe he was on call. I don't even know. He came in and out of pain. He told me he was going to inject that site. So, of course, you know that the place is sore. It will be painful. He explained that to me. I hissed at some point. Yes, I'm the one in pain. I'm the one mad that somebody did a bad job on me that is causing me pain. And because I eased, the doctor turned back on me and said, why will you ease? I'm like, what? Why will I ease in this condition? Like, I'm sore and everything. And all that concerns him was that I eased, and he was at the point of threatening to leave me the way I was. Like something, it was like that, almost like that, literally, like, okay, maybe I'm the God here. I can decide to not fix you. Well, I kept quiet, of course. I wasn't going to risk my life for some arguments. But he still did a bad job that night because my bleeding didn't stop. The following day, which doctor was on call? It was weekend, and then it was lighter. People were lighter in the hospital. They called in someone, a doctor, to come and check. Eventually, at some point, I was even afraid. They were, I don't know. I kept bleeding and bleeding and bleeding up until the third day. Meanwhile, those who were operated on after me, by the second day, they were already standing up. They were taking care, holding their babies. I couldn't. That is really painful. I'm like, I don't even understand what is happening right now. Probably my cesarean session looks like one of the most successful that day because I didn't even need blood. I didn't bleed, nothing. Everything was clean. And yet, I'm still in this bed on Sunday morning. The prayers, thank God for my people that can pray for my church. They send out prayers and they were praying for me. This is how some people lose their lives because who cares, right? And that's why I kind of am weary when people are, even my sister that is interviewing me today has had, when she was pregnant with her baby, of course I was scared. Why wouldn't I be scared? Because I know how Lagos or Nigerian doctors can be sometimes. So at some point it was God that intervened, using one of our uncles or one of my cousins that was a doctor. Otherwise, she probably wouldn't be alive today. Yeah, they gave her information. I'm sure she's still going to probably talk about that herself later on.
I am going to talk about it, definitely.
Or maybe. So that is how the height of I don't want to use words that are too big.
Nonchalant. They're just nonchalant.
So nonchalant about human lives, and I think they really, really need to revisit that. And probably one of the reasons that make this place better is because you are answerable. You know, you are answerable. People can sue you.
You can't get away with it.
You can't.
But
yeah, people can sue you if they suspect any foul play or whatever, and they are going to really be after you. Even nurses, they hold their work so. Oh no, I won't bore you with much details. I was remembering other details that what I went through. And doctors, I'm telling you, doctors and nurses are to talk about. But thank God, here I am today. I'm just grateful to God. So, yeah. So fast forward, I told you about my second cesarean session. Do you have any question at this point before I continue?
No. You're touching everywhere. I think we're good.
Okay. So the second one, when I did that year, like I said, they were really up to par. Like everybody was, they were really wonderful. Like I just give it to them that they were doing their job well. But of course, I as a child of God, we kept praying to God that everything will work well. We never, at some point my husband was like, I would not say because I'm in America, because people still die in America. So it's all still about, it's still God that keeps us, and we don't lose sight of that. I give God all the glory. So my first cesarean session, of course, at this point, the second cesarean session, like I said, happened because of that complication. Now I hope that is clear. So I had that complication, and then they needed to get my baby out. Meanwhile, before then, I think they were already telling me that they were monitoring my baby. That's for my second baby now. Like a fetal heart is doing something like a little beep that is like off point the normal rhythm of a heart. That if that continues, they may have to operate me. And I'm like, what if I don't want to be operated? They were like, okay, then you sign. That is your choice, I said I was not going to take blood, or somebody were like, okay, sign. That it's your choice that you chose to die when you needed blood. So it's all about what you want. They respect your decisions and everything. So a great contrast to what happens in Nigeria, where the doctors play the Lord, they play the God. Like I dictate what happens to you, especially if you happen to go to general hospital, government hospital. Some of us are in general hospital not because we actually, some people go there because of the expertise, not because they don't have money, but they are just looking for expert advice. Like I said, in my own case, where I saw that happening, I want to be sure. I told you the consultant that told me, there were experts that I met and all of that made me know yes. So thank God. For my first story, my baby being born in Nigeria, I bled until the Sunday afternoon. It was until then that God used, after much prayer.
When did you give birth? Was it Friday?
It was Friday, and I bled until Sunday. I kept bleeding. My mom was not herself anymore.
Actually, I can remember.
Yeah, she wasn't herself again.
Sorry.
Yeah.
That's our elder sister. She called mom and said, She was not there. I can't forget that statement. Like, what's happening? Everybody has to rally around because Nigerian healthcare system is really bad. Then going to general hospital again can be very, very. I used to say, I think I mentioned in one of my videos that we should ask questions. I think one of those things that irritated them when I was at the general hospital was that I kept asking questions. What did you want to give? What injection is that? What is that and that? And because
some of them will not even be polite. They will tell you why you're asking. Like they will think
exactly. They didn't want to answer me. I think I had a little bit respect when one of the nurses actually was asking me questions about my details at midnight. Because no one was allowed to stay with me. It was just my mom left, my husband also left. So it was just me at the clinic. There was no place for them to stay by. So she was asking me questions like, okay, what's your name? How old are you? Where do you work? was a profession, I think, to fill her form. Because after then, I noticed that she added a little bit of respect to how she was.
Of course, anyone that comes to General Hospital, they always look down on them. The same thing happened to me.
And actually looks like someone that actually does.
With how small I looked and whatever, because even after having my baby, I was back in my old formal wear. My tummy went flat immediately. They were like, where is the mother of the baby? Everything was back to normal. That's how our body is. So yeah, you're very right on that. Some of them don't even, no regard, nothing, no respect. Which
no regard at all. In fact, one of the doctors actually asked me when I got married, and I got the gist. I want to know if I was being impregnated or I actually got married.
Maybe you were not married. I know.
But what I said, irrespective of even if I was impregnated, that's none of your business.
It's not. That's the way it is here. That's the way it is. You have no right to
You don't have any right.
Everyone's privacy, and then you have respect, utmost respect for your patients, for their.
They don't have it there at all.
Everything. It's part of the things they should be taught at home that I think is really missing. So you don't see someone and already downplay them like, oh, what is she? Maybe she's just one of those loose girls. No, exactly. Maybe you may end up really being wrong. So I thank God. I hope all of these things get corrected. So back to my second cesarean session, everything went well. Eventually, after having that cesarean session, since that complication, I was fine. The baby was fine. This time around, I had a bigger baby. She was perfect. She was perfect and beautiful. So
you can't compare. Well, it's not as if I don't like Nigeria, or
Of course, yeah. I'm going to tell you. Even recovery is different. Yeah. So
I remember. I don't know if it was a second birth. I don't know if it was Benita. You mentioned that you have actually forgotten the tears.
Of course, yeah. Yeah, she's right. She's very right. Because of what I suffered in Nigeria with my stitches being bad, that they had to sew and resew and resew.
Just imagine restoring cesarean section, resewing and resewing. Yeah. Even me that I was taking to one receipt for vaginal tear, I almost died. Now imagine going through that. So twice extra.
Of course.
They're not doing well at all.
I'm just.
But then it's not even to have money for some people. Actually, as much as people actually go for general hospital for experts, most people actually get there because of affordability of their services too.
Okay. Yeah.
Sure. I just really wish that there can be change to how they do this operation and they take lives more seriously.
I hope so.
I hope to get better.
Yeah.
So I want to discuss about take us through your recovery.
Okay.
Like how was your recovery? Just mention briefly. Nigeria, don't try for you. Don't worry. Just mention briefly on how your recovery was in Nigeria. Then tell us and compare with how it was over there.
Okay.
I mean, with a second C-section.
Second and third. Okay. So yeah, good question. Thanks for asking. So my recovery, like I've mentioned, was tougher in Nigeria, and I had this car that wasn't nice. The section that was opened, or like the stitch side, wasn't so neat like it should be, especially on the left side that I said they had to restitch and restitch. So interestingly, when I was going to have my second baby here, they opened me up from that point. Yeah, it was cool because everything was fine now. It was more than 2 years after the first. Yeah, I wasn't feeling any. Yeah, they do that. Actually, it's acceptable. They do that now. It's very okay. They do that to reduce the number of stitches you have. If I'm going to do 3 cesarean sessions, they open me here, open me here, open me here. My body is already defaced, right? So they opened it. Interesting, I didn't even know. And by the time they were going to sew it, oh my God, you need to see that place. So neatly done. I can't say you, even the scar that I had before does not, like, it faded. So they did a good job. So yes, and recovery was, of course, with my second and third baby year, recovery was great. Number one, like I said, everybody, they take care of you. You are the new mom, irrespective of your stature or from your profession or anything. They take care of you. The feeding is great. The attention, everything. I had a room to myself. It's different from when you have a ward in Nigeria, of course. These are some of the, this is not to maybe be act like I'm proud or something. No, I'm just comparing. So these are some of the things they can do. They can work on infrastructures at home. We all know in Nigeria that this is something pretty much. What I think we need to work on is the infrastructure, make the post-delivery recovery for both, even not only cesarean section. You know, like I remember then, I was wasting away in the ward where I was in a Solo General Hospital. I couldn't eat at some point. I spent close to a week. At some point, it was looking like, am I going to have my naming ceremony here? You know, like 6 days. And my PVC was so low, they needed me to get it up. We were trying things to get it up.
The blood you lost.
Yeah, and apart from that, yeah, so they were contemplating on, they wanted to give me blood. They were already considering that. I'm like, man, everything went well. Why do I need blood now that I'm in the world and all of that? But things had gone, the blood that I've lost, yes. And please, if you need to take blood, go ahead and take it. There's no, if it come to that, I was going to take it. I've just been so lucky that for all my cesarean sessions, I didn't need to take blood. So eventually, how I came up that PVC, how I came out of that low PVC was that the doctor that came in later just said, okay, with 25 I can go, because at this point I couldn't even keep anything down. So everything I was trying to take, even medication that they are giving me to get my PVC up, it wasn't working because my environment itself was so irritating. They were bringing in fresh blood, people that were, at some point I started perceiving this staunch smell. Like, what is this? I was just so tired of that place. I needed out. And thank God my deliverance came.
The word it. Be like inside word.
My deliverance came a day before my, on the 6th or 7th day, a day before my naming ceremony. I went home that evening. I was so happy. And yeah, so compared to the recovery here, you have a room to yourself. Yes, that has been my experience for both my second and third birth. A room to myself. My husband can be there with me. If my children want to visit, they are welcome during the visiting hours. Even during COVID, my husband was allowed to be with me, with the baby. It was just, so you have nothing to worry about. The food is good. Yes, they tried with the food in Isolo General Hospital too, I must confess, but that environment already was so irritating to me. I couldn't even really eat much. So if you know what I mean. So yeah, this is pretty much my experience and some compare and contrast. Is there any other thing you want me to touch?
More thing about complications. Okay. Of course, you mentioned the complication faced with the one they had in Nigeria. But were there any similar complications over there?
Okay, thank you. Good question.
Or possible complications too. Or maybe we should just talk generally about. Let's take the fact that Nigeria system is not working. Let's say in a working system country, that's, for example, the United States, are there possible complications?
Okay, so that I'll attack that question from two different angles. So you can have complications leading to you needing a cesarean session, and you can also have complications after cesarean session. So I'm more familiar with the ones leading to cesarean sessions, but I'm also going to just brush on the one after that may be possible complications. So there are different things that could make you need, like I've said in my case, my baby was going small and it felt my baby shouldn't go through unnecessary stress so that it doesn't affect her brain or anything. We want her to be perfect. So it's better she doesn't go through any stress, which I appreciated. Yeah, I'm so grateful to God that I listened. Another one could be, apart from small for age, which was my first child. Another one could be maybe all this I'm trying to remember now. My husband knows those terms, which is one of the things that I heard then. So apart from a child being small for age, like in my first child case, another one could be maybe placenta previa, which was what I had in my third cesarean section here in yes, placenta previa. So it's not like I tried VBAC again this time. No, I'm wiser. I can't try that again.
I don't even think it's advisable after.
No, I won't even if it's advisable, I won't even try it because I've learned my lessons from the second one. I just wanted to, but I guess this time around, one thing led to the other. I just saw a gush, and so what happened was that they had to kind of quickly rush to do my cesarean session. It was emergency session. I couldn't wait. I think my body had just adjusted to ejecting my babies early. I don't know, because
yeah, I think some, how do I put it? Not everybody. I don't know what they call it. I read a woman's story. She said she gave birth to all her children at 35 weeks.
Yeah, that's possible. Yeah, I've had someone that said she went naturally, my OBGYN. So that was what she used to convince me that my baby was okay. Okay, so complications, the possible complications and risks of cesarean section, that's after you have had your baby through cesarean sections. One of it could be reaction to the anesthesia that you have. So, but importantly, sometimes they ask you questions. They are thorough here. They ask you, are you allergic to anything? Maybe they just want to know, have a bit of your family history. So, but some people probably have had reactions to the anesthesia that they are given. Some people, it could be postpartum hemorrhage, maybe heavy bleeding during and after delivery. Like I said, in Nigeria, I didn't have any bleeding. The second and third baby, I will not lie to you, I was knocked out. I couldn't experience it here in America. And the reason was because I chose VBAC the second time, but that's not the only reason. The reason was because I opted not to take, there's one anesthesia that they give us, epidural, that you'll be awake to see everything going on. So if I told them no, because I was so crazy about having my baby by myself in the natural way, no epidural, nothing. And my husband still wonders today that why did I even choose not to have it? Because that deprived him the opportunity of being there. Because at that point when it was emergency, they had to get him out, so that they can be able to focus and take care of me. I was knocked out with the general anesthesia, so I wasn't awake. It was after the serious that I will wake up. So I don't even know if I bleed or whatever. So, but for the first one, no bleeding. So that's what they meant there. So some people have the risk of bleeding during and after the delivery, like in my case. But of course, that after delivery was not because I had cesarean section. It was because of the carelessness of the doctors that took care of me. That's another one. Other ones could be blood clots. You could also have wound infection. That is common. And like my host said, wound infection could also result from if you have a tear during vaginal delivery. Some people can have wound infection if it's not properly taken care of. So yeah, just like you would have a tear, you could have wound infection, surgical injury, infection generally, and increased risks during future pregnancies. That's something that after you've had the first cesarean section, you can face higher risk of having some other potentially serious complications in subsequent pregnancy when you have you would after normal vaginal delivery. So I'm pretty much taking some of my
After vaginal delivery.
Yes.
What are normal?
After what?
You said after normal vaginal delivery.
Is that what I said? Sorry. Yeah,
delivery.
after vaginal delivery, yes, it is very normal. Everything is normal. So please, let's stop this. Avoid stigmatization. Don't look at people, because if you are watching this video, and you are the type of person that already you think, well, if they have cesarean section, is either they don't have faith or something is wrong with them. That is a lie, pure lie from the pit of hell. Where is that in the Bible?
Pit of hell.
I don't understand.
Fire.
Yeah, so
it is. I was asking for exercise labor because I don't
exactly. So it is
very
normal. It is very normal to have cesarean sessions. Yeah. Yes, it is better.
Quick one. I just want to ask you. Approximately how long does it take for the
recovery?
Stitching to heal up.
The stitching to heal up, it could be like maybe up to like this. It depends. In my own case, I told you, the stitching, honestly, here in the United States, my stitching did not take long at all. I think after 2 weeks, everything had fallen off because they have better. And it's not. They won't even have to remove the stitch. Sometimes they will use the one that will, melt in your body. It is biodegradable and bioabsorbable by the body. So when that happens, your body will. It will just you just go for your normal 6 weeks checkup. I think about 2 or 4 weeks, everything is fine.
Sorry, a quick one is that for CS, are you expected to start contracting before you go for your CS?
Oh, good question. So yeah, for cesarean session, you're not expected to start having contractions. No, a perfect cesarean session or a planned cesarean session will be that they have picked a date for you, just like they did for me in the first case, and then they asked me to go first and second, and then you will be asked to come in. So yeah, the second one I did VBAC, but then it turned emergency CS. So the third one, I wasn't supposed to go into labor, but my baby came early before we fixed. So she came around 37 weeks. So she came before.
She was too big.
Yeah, she was too big, right? Okay, so I am a fan of big girls, big babies, so I wanted my baby to be, to add more flesh and all of that. But really, my baby came out perfect. She was already really big at 36 weeks, 37 weeks. So, like she rightly said, some children, some of us, our body, everybody will not wait till 40 weeks, 39 weeks, and all of that. But it's interesting that even my doctor here, that because I had my second and third baby in different states in the United States. I had my second in California, and I had the other one in Texas, third one in Texas. So my doctor in Texas didn't even, was kind of not expecting that my baby will come early. Of course, he knew and that's where the place of prayer comes in. I had some complications too. Yes, that led to that. Like I said, the baby, I just saw some gush of blood, gush of butter and blood. I don't know what was happening. I didn't know that it was placenta previa. We had to rush to the hospital and everything. Thank God, God saved my life. So anywhere you are, it's still God that takes care of you. Yes, the doctors are trying, and that is important. So yes. Yes. Yeah, that's true. So it's pretty much you don't need to go into labor, but if you have gone into labor and your doctor thinks, I think we need to, you cannot wait to have this, we need to do a cesarean session immediately. They can truncate. They will not mind that you are, just like in my case in the second baby, I was already dilating, but because something has happened that puts the baby's life at risk. I'm suspecting was also, I can't remember the details well, but it's possible it was that same placenta previa. And once placenta previa happens, it's very dangerous, it's very fatal it can be fatal to the baby and to the mother, because the baby's womb wall, you know that what do we cut after the umbilical cord, everything that we cut after baby has come out, it has been detached from the baby. So that means the baby is not getting food, no oxygen. Yeah, so it was that bad. So when I look at my baby, I'm like, God is great. Yes. So that was a complication that they had to quickly rush on me. Some people don't, some mothers go for it. So it can go either way in that case. So your doctor will tell you exactly what is needful. And I think it's just important that we keep an open mind. Yeah, even as Christians, don't say, I'm number one person that wants to have baby birth. I will be the first person to break record. First person, even ever. My sister, elder sister, my younger sister, none of them are at that cesarean session. But I'm not going to kill myself because my babies, things happened and I had to have cesarean session. It's part of my life.
In fact, the way about 2 months or a month ago, there was this story of a lady going about on social media in Nigeria. So what happened was the doctor advised that she would CS, that she couldn't deliver the baby vaginally. I won't say naturally, but CS.
Yeah,
natural bit. So the mother called a pastor, and a pastor said, "No, she's going to be like an Hebrew woman." But to cut the story short, she died. The baby died. People on social media were actually crazy. Like, go back, carry the dead mother and the dead child, take them to the pastor to make them up. So we really need to let people understand that it's not a crime to want.
It's not.
Vaginal.
They need to know.
But if it's not possible, a sin that you have a CS, that you are alive and your baby is alive, something to be grateful to God for.
Number one, every mom should know that you are carrying a life within you. And yes, the Bible said the children of Israel delivered like Hebrew women. It doesn't. The world we are living in now, there is more progress in medicine. Yes. And some of us, you cannot just stand in the way. If it's not going to happen that way, instead of dying, trying to have it that way that you your brain as like that's what you think is the only thing. No, please don't kill yourself. You are deciding. Remember, you're deciding for yourself and for that baby. Please don't give that life, that child, a hard life when you die in the process of having him or her because they ask you to do cesarean section and you don't. Don't even kill a baby that is just coming.
In addition to actually affect a lot. Because, okay, let me do a quick story on my own birth. So, I had it here. So, and because of the way they stitched it, nonchalance, I wasn't working properly. So, a neighbor came to greet me. So, I suspected, I was even telling my husband that I've just told him that I was resting because I wasn't comfortable. So, I was walking in a funny way. I was trying to cover it up. So she noticed, but he already told the lady that was coming to stay. So I came out and like, for now, just tell them that I'm resting. So not everybody will know that something is wrong with somebody. So I think she noticed the way I was walking, but she didn't say anything. She just went. For like 2 to 3 times we were meeting after dinner. She was stylishly asking me if I had CS. Number one, was it a business? Was it a business? Number two, even if I had a CS. Now she was focusing on my stomach. She said my stomach was stiff. Which stomach? Because during my pregnancy, I was actually very. So as I never have stomach. People that even saw me, because of course there was no body. I wasn't as chubby as this. I was still. So this is when you have body that you have stomach. But I think the day she finally asked what's on my mind, I wanted to know if I did a CS. So I linked it to the way she saw me where I was walking. So she felt I did a CS. And there are a lot of things to these things. Even when it comes to breastfeeding, there are a lot of reasons why some people don't breastfeed their babies. but because of
A
stigmatization,
lot.
we very
A lot.
yes.
I had a friend here in the United States that would have loved to breastfeed her child. Her first child, she was all ready for it. Exclusive breastfeeding. Guess what? After 1 or 2 weeks of producing milk stopped. She couldn't produce any more milk. And some people that don't understand, I remember I even overheard someone, because this person was closer to me, and then I overheard someone saying, like this, she mentioned something that I'm like, are you talking about this person? Because if you are, she didn't do it intentionally. No, it wasn't intentional. She wants to breastfeed that baby, but she just cannot. She's not producing milk. She went to see specialists. She did so. There's a lot of things happen, and I think that's we are not helpful when we already judge people. We already
exactly. I think that's the issue. People want to. Okay, if you ask someone that is random, like ask a random pregnant woman, why do you want to give birth by gender? So people will not tell me that this and that. You see cases of men. I have heard a story of a man saying that his wife should discharge his wife on time, so that people don't know that she had a stage.
Okay.
Risking your wife's life.
At this point, I remember what I was going to say earlier. Please know that the decision you are making, it's solely your decision. Don't look at what others think, what others say.
At all.
In the end, if you die today because you were looking at what others would think, it's your decision to die. You won't blame anybody. There will be nobody to blame. It will be solely your decision. And so that's why it's going to be your decision and your husband's or your spouse or whatever you do, you look at those who unfortunately lost their kids in the process of saying, I don't want cesarean section. They can't forgive themselves, will they? They can't. Because
the fact that same CS that they
have to do. Yeah.
They have to do the dead baby.
Except if you want to die too with dead baby inside.
Exactly.
So you can imagine, if you love life so much, give that child a chance to live. If they say that is the only way. If they say that is the only way, seek second opinion is good. Ask another doctor. Yeah. What do you think about this? What do you think about this? And if they are saying the same thing, go ahead. For crying out loud, your body, in short, when you see me today, you cannot know I have cesarean section. You can't. But 3 times. No. Okay, so that is just really that. I really hope that this message goes out to someone out there, and you know that cesarean section. I'm happy I had cesarean sessions because all of them are peculiar, and would that have been my first choice? No. But life happens, and I'm proud that I listened, because I'm not ready to face the consequences of not listening. Yeah. So cesarean section saves life. Yeah, it saves lives, and I have done it 3 times. It's totally harmless. It's just another way of having a safe delivery. There is nothing wrong with it. Nothing abnormal, nothing at all abnormal about cesarean section. Some people will not, I repeat, like me, some people will not be able to have their kids naturally. It could be because of the way their body is. It could be because of complications, things happening. Yes, and if that is the case, you are not abnormal by having cesarean section. No, my kids are perfect. I am good. I am in good health, which is really important. So yes, please go for it. If that is it's the only option left for you, don't. At this point, some people are even asking for cesarean section as an option. They are begging the doctors instead of going through delivery. So that is how far our world has evolved. Don't stay in that darkness. Don't be backward in your thinking. There's nothing wrong with cesarean section. I am pro cesarean section, and I hope that you find it. It goes well. Everything goes well. If that happens to be the course of action for you, if that happens to be the way you're going to bring your child, your beautiful baby, into this world. Make sure you enjoy every moment of it. It's beautiful.
Can you see? So happy CS Awareness Month once again. CS is safe, it's life-saving, is easy. Recovery is fast, as much as vaginal delivery. CS is not abnormal. Please, that's all you need to save your life, your baby's life. Please do it. Do not let stigmatization affect your decision. Your life matters most. Your baby's life matters most. You won't carry a baby for 9 months just to produce a dead baby. Mm-hmm. So please, CS is safe. Is life-saving. Thank you very much, Mrs. Olopedano. It's an awesome time with you. I don't know if to extend this meeting, there are a lot of things you would tell us, educate us about. Yeah. But the little you've told us, we really appreciate. Thanks for coming. Thanks for sharing your personal story with us. Thanks for encouraging us with your personal stories and experience. It's good to have you. Thank you very much.
It's nice being here. Thank you for having me once again. I appreciate the invite.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
See you my sister. Bye. So guys, don't forget to subscribe. Share this with the women in your circle. As you can see, we are dropping educative content back to back. That's our focus. As much as we'll be dropping some fun live videos, it's focused on women. So please, women in your circle, share with them, and you too try to engage. Men too, you can learn. Like now, don't go and stand on the neck of your wife and say, you must give me like an Hebrew woman.
Yeah.
Still extension to an Hebrew woman. Please let that be. Have a wonderful time. Bye.
Bye.